Welcome to this first video clip in a series called Discipleship Partners, the Master's Plan. This video is the introduction, entitled The Centrality of the Cross in Discipleship. In 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 23, Paul says, "We preach Christ crucified, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God." And he continues in verse 30, "He, that is God, is the source of your life in Christ Jesus, who became for us wisdom from God and righteousness and sanctification and redemption." C.J. Mahaney says, if there's anything in life that we should be passionate about, it's the gospel, the centrality of the cross. And he doesn't mean passionate only about sharing it in evangelism, but passionate about meditating and thinking on it and dwelling on it in our own lives and hearts, rejoicing in it, delighting in it, and allowing it to color the very way that we see the world. The amazing grace of God is the miracle of Christ exchanging His righteousness for our sinfulness, and that is through faith alone. It is this gospel, the power of God, that is the foundation stone for a walk of faith by the power of the indwelling Spirit for our sanctification and growth and for our fruitfulness. It is the power of the gospel that enables us by God's grace to live a life unto God for His glory. Romans chapter 1, verse 15, Paul says to the Roman Christians, "I am eager to preach the gospel to you also who are in Rome." He wants to expound the power of the gospel, not only for salvation, but for growth and development of the Christian life. "For I am not ashamed," says Paul, "of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. For it is in the gospel, it is the cross of Christ, that the righteousness of God is revealed from faith for faith, as it is written, the righteous shall live by faith." It is all of grace through faith from beginning to end, from regeneration to sanctification or growth, and then finally to glorification with Him. The gospel of justification by grace through faith in Christ is the essential driving power of the Christian life. If you miss this, it's fatal to your spiritual growth. This gospel of grace is not just for the unbeliever. The power of the gospel is at the very core of transforming grace in the life of the Christian for growth and fruitfulness, and not just for salvation in new birth. Justification is not only a past event, it is also a daily present reality for continued growth of the Christian. We need the gospel, not only as a door into initial saving relationship with Christ, but also we need the gospel of grace to keep our lives from becoming a performance treadmill. The cross is not a mere first step towards spiritual development. It is the all-encompassing foundation for Christian growth. Milton Vincent says, "A costly mistake made by Christians is to view the gospel as something that has fully served out its purpose the moment that we have believed in Jesus for salvation. Not knowing what to do with the gospel, once they were saved, they lay it aside. And after conversion, they move on to bigger and better things." Of course, they don't realize that this is really what they're doing. Yet after many years of floundering and defeat, they can look back and see that this is exactly what they've done. We Christians also need the gospel, the message of the cross, the centrality of the cross in our thinking, in our lives, in our meditation every day to keep us from falling into a performance relationship with God. Until you rest in the finality of the cross, you will never experience the reality of the resurrection life through the power of the Spirit of God. When the wonder of the cross of Jesus Christ grips a life, it cancels out all of our pride and pretentious snobbery. When the wonder of Christ and his cross stirs our heart, it compels us to give ourselves away in love to others. When the wonder of the cross of Jesus Christ lays hold of our lives, it unties our tongues in worship and witness. But when the cross of Christ no longer stirs our hearts, this means that our spiritual condition is in a terrible state of complacency and lukewarmness. The cross of Christ is central to spiritual growth and discipleship. Timothy Keller says, knowing God occurs when the truth overflows from your mind into your entire being. Knowing God is when the truth you've heard 1,000 times before becomes experiential, becomes real, and you marvel at the miracle of God's love for us. Has the wonder of the cross gripped your soul? Here are some discussion questions now to help you along the way of discovery and application. May God bless you.